So you're here to learn more tonight about roses and meet our board and learn about our mission and our goals. This is just our first of these meetings, and we'll be doing more. So you'll hear about roses a little bit, and then the highlight of tonight is a special program, a webinar, a brief webinar, a sampling of the kinds of webinars offered by our board member and psychologist, Dr. Peter Reznik. Many credentials Peter has. And through this, we hope to show you the kind of counseling and programming we want to offer through Roses. Okay, so this slide tells you a little bit about Roses. Okay, the acronym is, and it stands for Rising Opportunities Through Science, Education, and Service. We are a nonprofit, charitable organization, and our mission is to improve the quality of mental health with a special target to the population of young adults ages 18 to 30. Our two main program areas are free mental health counseling offered by credentialed professionals led by Dr. Reznik, and also scholarships. So we found in our research that there are not enough trained counselors to address the increasing need of mental distress, especially exacerbated from the pandemic. So what we'd like to do is try to ease the burden of financial need for people who want to study in those professions. So our second program area is then to offer scholarship. Third, we want to normalize the dialogue around mental health. We want to remove the stigma, which we know is very real from our research and from our experience, especially among certain populations, including certain ethnic groups and age groups, right? We want to remove that stigma so people can be open about the struggles they face and then get help, okay? So you'll meet our volunteer board of directors tonight. We are funded solely by tax deductible donations, and there's the link to our website so you can learn more. Okay, a little bit about how we came to the acronym ROSES. So the R and the O stand for Rising Opportunities. So we want to say through this two things: that people have the chance to rise above their current situation if they are struggling with mental distress or struggling from mental illness in any way, okay? Secondly, through studying and improving the credentials and the training that they have, they can work in professions that can improve their economic status, okay? The science and education part is the S and the E of Roses, and we want to say here that we are offering science-based help both through the counseling and through the academic offer, the academic study, okay? And then service. So part of our, even our requirement for those that we offer scholarships to is that they do show a commitment. They articulate a commitment to actually healing and improving the mental health and overall well-being, the state of the people throughout the world, by serving them freely as much as they're possible, as much as they're able to. So service is a big part of what we all share as a commitment on the board. And then we will ask all of those who join us in offering our programs and our services to also show that service commitment. Okay, so that's how we arrived at Roses, and it is kind of a loving tribute to my mother as well. My mother loved roses in particular. She and my father were avid gardeners, and in all of the homes that they've had in India and here in the States, they have cultivated and developed beautiful roses. My mother even would take rose bushes, plantings to India and plant in her garden here, traveling many miles, these roses. And so she offered so much joy and beauty to a great many people through her work. So that the acronym is also a tribute to her. Okay, so let's meet our board. Okay, so everybody here is on the call. Again, my name is J.O. Copley. I am the president and founder. My background is, as I said, in leading charitable organizations, including those that have provided service in India and other countries. I am a communicator and marketer by profession, and I have 2 master's degrees in those areas. And I come to Roses with a great many years of experience working in nonprofits, associations, and other kinds of leadership roles in companies. So that's a little bit about me. Sitting beside me is my daughter, Adriana, who helped me found Roses.
Hi, I'm Adriana. I'm the Vice President of Social and Digital Media, and I am a first-year undergraduate student at the University of Maryland. I'm studying public health science and medicine. And as I was finishing high school, mental health was a very pertinent issue in all areas of my life with my friends and with my family. I was very eager to find an organization through which I could improve people's lives. And it's just an added bonus that I get to work with my mother as well. And I'm still very focused on mental health in my studies and how it ties into public health and affects global communities as well as more local ones.
Thank you, Adriana. So I have stopped sharing my slides so you can actually see the beautiful faces of our board members. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Gladys Richards, who is our board secretary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gladys Richards. I'm the board secretary. I'm also Jaya's cousin. In terms of my background, I live in Toronto, Canada, and I worked for the City of Toronto for over 34 years in the area of human resources, and I held various leadership roles. I was also involved, or I should say, I'm currently involved as part of the Condominium Corporation Board of Directors as well for over 10 years. And in case you're wondering why I became involved with Roses, it's actually because I'm currently retired and I always wanted to give back my time to a charitable organization. So I'm really excited and look forward being part of Roses, because I truly believe in its mission in terms of improving mental health of people worldwide. So it's an honor to be part of the board, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you, Gladys. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Tanya Richardson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanya Richardson, and I currently serve as the VP of Scholarships here at Roses. And my background is varied. I am a former administrator in a charter school district in Washington, D.C. And currently I work in the association space as a marketing and communications manager for an association that deals with biological researchers. And I came to Roses in 2021 in the height of the pandemic. And one of the things that attracted me to Roses was actually its mission, because I saw firsthand from people that I knew, former students, people who were parents, people who were friends, that there was an increase in mental health needs, especially during the pandemic, but there was a lack of mental health professionals. And so while noticing that, I came across Roses and felt like this was the perfect opportunity for me to volunteer and help the organization and be a part of an organization that was really trying to fill in a gap of something that I really believed in heavily. So I'm really glad to be a part of Roses.
Thank you, Tanya. Peter, we'd like to have you introduce yourself next.
I am Peter Reznik, and I specialize in mind-body integrative therapy. This year, 2023, will be 45 years since I've been doing exactly what Roses strives to do, helping those who need help and educating those who want to help. I worked with thousands of people from around the world, helping them to deal with mental and emotional challenges. And also I trained corporate executives' communication skills and stress management. Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson wrote, "Most people are not mentally ill. They're just overwhelmed by the complexity of life." My years of experience support this statement. As technology evolves, the inner struggle, complexities of navigating life change as well. And as I understand, the intention of Roses is to help those who needs support and guidance in dealing with all these rapid changes and not get it otherwise. Actually, it's written in Talmud, the one who saves a man saves the world. So we those who present today here, in our unique ways, have the opportunities to save many worlds.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Peter. Guru, we'd like to have you introduce yourself next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Duru Ahanatu. Good to see everyone here. I have been in data analytics for almost 30 years and led data analytics teams for about 10 years, 10, 15 of those years. I came to Roses as sort of a ship looking for a harbor. I made a career choice about almost a year and a half ago that I really wanted to put my skills in service of an organization, of a nonprofit organization. And so I took a certification course to qualify to be on a board, and then was matched with several organizations. And I picked Roses because I know how much of an acute issue mental health and wellness is. And I was really excited by the mission statement, everything that's been said here. And I've just seen also the issue across family, friends, and communities. So I knew this is a way I could really make a huge impact. And I'm looking forward to putting data to service in this mission. So good to see everyone, and looking forward to working with everybody, the board and our supporters in the coming months and years.
Thank you. Really important. The role of data, as we all know, in today's digital environment. So I'm going to introduce a couple of additional board members who could not be with us live or in person tonight. And they've been working very hard to get us off the ground and to this point. So the first one I'll introduce is Bill Bermansky, who's serving in our Vice President of Marketing role, which is, critically important, as I think everybody knows these days, especially in the nonprofit world, to raise money and gain exposure for our mission and our cause. Bill has a wonderful resume and background in communication and marketing. He is a colleague of mine in that field, and we've known each other for a few years now. So we're very, very lucky to have Bill and his expertise. And Abigail Pelos is our other marketing team member. Abigail was a student of mine. I teach part-time at the University of Maryland in communication. And Abby has a wonderful sense of mission herself. And she has a wonderful combination of marketing skills and expertise and mindset, as well as an analytical mind. And so she works with Duru a little bit on the data side of what we do, and social media and content and all of those important things. So she is a senior at the University of Maryland and will be graduating soon, but we are fortunate that she plans to stay involved with our board. Okay, so thanks everybody. Let's move on a little bit to talk about the mission and goals of Roses. Okay, so this slide is, kind of puts it there in a nutshell, but we'll speak to it a little bit.
Yeah, so our mission is to improve the emotional and psychological resilience, coping skills, and overall mental well-being of young adults worldwide by increasing the number of well-trained professionals available to provide services and by providing mental health support. We'll do this by supporting the training of mental health students and those seeking accreditation in behavioral fields, and by providing free mental health counseling services. And we plan to offer treatment for conditions like anxiety, panic disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder,
memory, concentration, and test-taking issues, depression, and self-perception issues, as well as relationships.
And then you can see on the slide, our goals are to provide, so right now we're in our fundraising stage. Okay, so we've launched Roses this evening with your support and with your help. And so we are in a time of fundraising. And as soon as we can reach our financial goals, as you see on the screen, we will be able to start the scholarships and the mental health counseling. Okay, so the goal is to provide free counseling. And we hope to do this as soon as we can raise the money. Okay. Tanya, we'll turn it to you.
I'm so sorry, I was not on mute. I was muted.
Okay.
So unlike other scholarships that are mostly based on financial need and merit, ours are distributed based on the student's commitment to the profession and good academic standing. Roses is different from the vast majority of mental health counseling programs. We offer free counseling to those experiencing general mental health distress, and we plan to offer up to 50 hours of free counseling to young adults ages 18 to 30 by licensed and credentialed mental health practitioners.
So for students in mental health academic programs who need financial assistance, and for those young adults experiencing life issues that could be helped with basic mental health counseling, Roses offers scholarships and free counseling services. So Roses offers, as stated on the slide, up to $5,000 per academic year to students who are in high school, graduate, undergraduate, college, university programs, and certificate programs in psychology, medical, and counseling programs of accredited institutions. Dura, we can't hear you. Oh.
Yep. So Roses stands apart as a charitable nonprofit organization rather than a foundation or a scholarship fund. We are independent. That means we're not affiliated with professional or academic institutions, which allows us to be broad-based in our programs and flexible to meet changing mental health needs. Through our programs, we intend to empower students to create the mental health careers they want while demonstrating passion and commitment to people in need.
Thank you. So I hope this was enlightening to our guests in terms of what we're trying to accomplish in this first phase of Roses. So please, remember that we do have a website, rosescharity.com. Please go there for more detail. We're going to give everybody updates as we go. And as we develop and as we raise the money, most importantly at this stage. So we look forward to including and engaging all of you as part of our community. Okay, so now for the heart of our launch event. So we're all struggling these days to maintain our emotional and psychological well-being. It's part of the reason we started Roses. Our research shows that 1 in 5 adults were experiencing a mental illness in 2020. This is more than 50 million Americans, let alone Canadians or globally. This means a person in your very household could be in distress. Young adults aged 18 to 25 years have the highest prevalence of mental illness, and only 42% of those get help for various reasons. Right? So some other important facts: mental illness in females is 10% higher than in males. And some of us are experiencing very serious distress. More than 12 million US adults report experiencing serious thoughts of suicide, with the highest rate among multiracial individuals. So it's all around us. but so is love. And it is what we've been focusing on this week with Valentine's Day. Doing the right things to support our loved ones is the most important, but often the most difficult responsibility we have in our relationships. So tonight, Dr. Peter Reznik, our board member in charge of our counseling programs, will guide us through an interactive and a brief webinar compared to the webinars Peter usually offers. And he is going to show us some practical exercises and techniques based on his lifetime of science and research and practice. We're so lucky to have Dr. Reznik with us. Tonight, as we go through the program, feel free to put your questions and comments and thoughts in the chat for Zoom, and we are monitoring that, and we will respond to you appropriately. Okay, so I have stopped sharing my screen now, and Peter, it is all yours.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Good. So, love in the age of anxiety. Let's have a little fun. Yes, we went through 3 quite challenging years, but whether we have great years or we have years that are not that great, human beings are social creatures. And the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our relationships. So let's have a talk about relationships. I have my tea here, and I have your attention. So I am ready. And can everybody unmute? Can you please unmute yourselves, everyone? Everybody is ready? So, Duru, okay. Now, I will say again, I am ready. And then I will ask you, are you ready? And I want you all say, yes, okay? Now, I am ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, very good. One more time. Are you ready?
Yes.
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 Now you can mute yourself. This yes and the thumb up, we shall utilize a bit later during this presentation, and you will discover it's super, super useful. Now, Duru, would you please play the little video that I gave you?
Sure. Give me just a quick second here. Okay, back in business.
Thank you very much, Duru. You know that this man actually stimulated the immune system of every person in that train. But I want us to keep going, then I explain to you why I'm doing this. Please, please join me. Do me a favor right now. And I know it will sound weird. Some of you know me, some don't, but take a risk. Do this now with me, and it will be totally artificial, because all these people in the train were inspired and by the sounds. I want you to do something totally artificially, but do it, please. Do this. Go ahead. Now make a face. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating. When you were laughing, you were breathing now out, if you noticed, yes? And when you were breathing out in such a way, you were actually stimulating vagus, the quieting nerve, which goes from your medulla, from the brain, to the heart and lungs and stomach. And that automatically switches you from sympathetic to parasympathetic mode of functioning. That is from stress and anxiety to relaxation. And those of you, that was when you were laughing, responding to this gentleman, charming man who was charming literally the whole train. But those of you who actually made faces, who dared to make these silly faces like I did, who did ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, also did something else. And that's a very interesting body of knowledge. You stimulated creativity because you normally don't make these faces, right? It was strange for you to do it. And what happened, we have in our brain little segment, part of hypothalamus, is called locus coeruleus. And when locus coeruleus is activated, it actually shuts down the production of norepinephrine associated with stress and anxiety. You know about this flight or fight response. When people are anxious, norepinephrine is flowing in the brain. And once you stimulate creativity, that is, one, you begin to make faces or think of something strange, and then you do this ha 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 ha, you actually relax your body and you stimulate your immune system. When you were laughing from your heart, following this man, you stimulated activated your immune system because your blood was flooded with interleukin, which is it's a hormone that may strengthen enormously your immune system. Another technique for dealing with symptoms of anxiety is to simply stand up straight. I'm not asking you to do it now, but I just want you to know. You stand up straight and begin to shake, slightly bouncing on your heels, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. You probably, those of you who like to watch boxing or some martial arts, you probably have seen before the match, before the fight, the fighters go like this, right? You probably saw it. And that's what happens. It's a very ancient technique from China called Qigong. And it's a technique for relaxation. What if you are in a situation where you cannot do ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, because it will be crazy? Then you simply breathe, starting by breathing out. It's a very common mistake. Many people, even those who know physiology, they just forget and keep repeating what everybody is saying. Oh, take deep breaths. It's not good. When you take a deep breath in, you stimulate sympathetic nervous system and you create even more excitation. What you do is you breathe out slowly. Imagine you for a moment, you are a little bit stressed, you slowly push air out, and then you breathe in normally, out slowly, normally in, or you even begin to count. As you breathe in, you count from 1 to 5. When you breathe out, you count from 1 to 7 or 8, if you can, to 9, because excuse me, the breath out must always be much slower than breath in. That's how you're activating the vagus. As you could see, all so far that I'm telling you is about the tools to deal with the symptoms of anxiety, not the causes. It's super important to deal with the causes of anxiety. We call this talk in the age of anxiety. Yes, there is a lot of anxiety, and there are reasons people feel unsettled. That to talk about the causes of anxiety would take much more time. We need at least I have a whole course which lasts 12 weeks, but at least we need 1 hour to give you some sense, some ideas on how you can work on your own on the causes of anxiety. Maybe a month, maybe no, 2 months from now, we can talk about the causes of anxiety. But today we'll only begin. It's one of the 2 talks that I intend to do. Begin to talk about our relationships. We're still in the days of the Valentine's energy. By the way, every technique I shared with you so far about releasing anxiety is based on science. None of what I will tell you today is only my experience, Peter Reznik's assumptions. That's not enough. It's just experience of one person. It's anecdotal. It's valuable, but it's not enough. Because this organization, Roses, is rising opportunities through science, education, and service. So anything I share with you today is supported by science, by research. Even if I quote the Bible, I will not quote it unless it is supported by modern research. For example, the very first instruction God gives after creating a human is what? It is not good for man to be alone. It is not good for a man to be alone. And indeed, modern research conclusively demonstrates that people who live alone have much higher rates of heart attacks and die prematurely. But there is another study that shows that people who are in relationship, but the relationships are unsatisfying and unfulfilling on the scale of self-rating of happiness developed by Dr. Elizabeth Barrett. People who are in unsatisfying relationships have higher rates of depression, anxiety, physical illness, and die prematurely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're in trouble. It's not good to be alone. It's not healthy for you. And it's not good for you to be in a relationship if the relationship doesn't work. So if we want to live longer and healthier lives, we must absolutely must make our relationships work. To impress upon you this, that we must make relationships work. We must be happy. We must choose to do everything to make our relationships happy and satisfying. I want to share with you one study. It was done by one of the most cited psychologists of 20th century. He was cited even more than Sigmund Freud. His name was Dr. Hans Eysenck. 13,000 people were, and I want you to focus your attention on the numbers. 13,000 people, that's a huge study, were evaluated for their basic lifelong attitudes. They were divided in 4 groups. The first group was named hopeless and depressed, people who were in poor relationships and suffered in them, in these relationships, who felt that something was not attainable in their life. So depressed people. The second group was of people who had a lot of anger, were fighting in relationships, constantly fighting at work, felt that something or someone wronged them. The third group was bouncing between anger and depression. And the fourth group was of people that those of you who know Abraham Maslow, humanistic psychologist, said were kind of self-actualized people, people who were in happy relationships and were happy with themselves. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all these 13,000 people were followed for 15 years. So what they found after 15 years, 75% of all people who died from cancer were from group 1. 75% of people who died from blood vessel disorders and heart problems were from the younger group, from group 2. 9% of those who died from cancer or heart problems were from group 3, going between anger and depression. Here's the punchline. Only less than 1%, 0.8% of people who died from cancer or heart problems were from the group 4. Is that incredible? Just think about it. I will give you even more shocking data. The same study. Think about it. No, but before I give it to you, I want to tell you, I don't hold the stock from tobacco companies. I'm not promoting tobacco. But 28%, remember the study was done 40 years ago. 28% of smokers from groups 1, 2, and 3 died from cancer within these 15 years, right? We know cancer. Everybody says, I know. I was an advisor to American Health Association, a physician who first spoke to Congress about the danger of smoking, founded this association. So I know smoking is bad. And indeed, 28% of all people from group 1 to 3, all smokers, died. 28%. 0.8% of smokers from group 4 died. Think about it. 0. So they were smoking. They say smoking causes cancer. Of course, smoking is not good for you. But if you are a happy person, your immune system fights even these poisons, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, arsenic, nicotine, tar that is in cigarettes. That's the incredible thing. Over a period of 15 years, 16% of all people from group 1, 2, and 3 died from cancer. That is, out of this 13,000 people, 1,690 people died from cancer. Only 0.3% of happy people died. 39 people died from cancer. Remember Bobby McFarlane? Don't worry, be happy, right? So what we are taught through this study is that it's how important it is to be happy, not to be angry, not to be depressed. You will say, wait a minute, life is challenging. You know, the Buddha's teachings start with the words, life is difficult. So pain is inevitable. It's true. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Suffering comes from resistance to pain, from hating and blaming, hating why you are there, rather than dealing with the pain, resenting the pain, and looking for someone to blame why it's happening. So you become angry and depressed. So we have to think how our relationships, are they a source of joy, fun, pleasure, learning, fulfillment, or they're a source of frustration, hurt, disappointment, or anger, or regret, or remorse? But maybe some of you are not in a relationship. Then what kind of a relationship would you like to bring in your life? Because remember, it's not good for men to be alone. Now, thank God, I have good news for you. A lot of valuable tools have been created, particularly in the last 50 years, to make relationships work, mostly by humanistic psychologists. For example, one of them, NVC, maybe some of you heard, it's called nonviolent communication, was developed by some 50 years ago, or 40 years ago, was developed by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. His technique of communicating is taught in the United Nations. Then the heart-to-heart communication was developed by Leanne and Paul Cartwright. And I teach these tools as part of my workshop, Making Your Relationships Work. I also created a love treaty, which I believe is a wonderful tool, and some rehab centers adopted this love treaty in their approach. It's simply they called me and they asked my permission to use this because some of their people who went to these rehabs shared with them that they took my class and they have this love treaty. So I don't want to give you like the love treaty right now because it requires work. It will be actually your assignment for you to bring the results next month, because I will be giving, God willing, I will be giving monthly talks. And next month you can work with, during the month, you can work with this love treaty. And then when we meet again, we'll talk about it. You can get it from my website under articles, and you probably will have displayed the website and the information displayed on the screen. Yeah, right. That's love treaty. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to read. I think you, because I have such wonderful feedback from so many people, I think you will appreciate the love treaty. And at the end, of course, it's not law binding document, but at the end, you're offered to sign the love treaty, whether it's between you and your daughter, you and your son, you and your partner. It doesn't matter. It's in fact, first time it was not called love treaty, it was peace treaty. And I was offering it by doing programs within companies. It was just different wording. It's easy to sign, to understand intellectually this love treaty, commitment that you're making. It's a little more challenging to live up to them, to your promises. That's why when we meet next month, I would like us to discuss what the challenges are when you attempt to keep up with your promise. And I would like to offer you some tools to deal with those challenges. You can take away now, you can take off the screen, Duru. Thank you. So we need now to start with something else. And yeah, we have still time, right? We need to start with something else because relationships are based on one very important relationship that we have. Before we have a relationship with our child or with our partner, we have a relationship with ourselves. And we have our belief system. Step number one in making your relationships work, no matter who you're in a relationship with, it's your relationship with yourself. Yourself must have a vision, an awareness, a belief that happiness, fulfillment, financial success, if you are interested in money, in a wonderful relationship is possible in your life. Without such a belief, inside belief, none of this can happen. You will make an effort and it will not be enough. No matter what you do, it's not working. Because belief creates experience. Some of you probably have no difficulties accepting what I'm saying. And some of you may say, what is he talking about? Our beliefs are based on our experiences. No. I tell you how it can be true. Well, spiritual traditions have been teaching us for millennia. Hinduism says, what is there is here. What is here is there. What is not here is nowhere. The ancient Egyptian wisdom says, that which is above is below. That which is below is above. The Hebrew star, one triangle looking up, one looking down. That which is above, so is below. The Christian cross is the same simplified version. That which is, but the easiest to understand and the most beautiful graphic representation of this principle is the Chinese yin and yang. Remember, black circle with the white dot and the white circle within black dot. The black dot. What does it mean? That which is inside is outside. That which is outside is inside. The content of our consciousness is creating our reality. You will say, what? That's traditions. No, modern physics, many modern physicists confirm this. Quantum physicist David Bohm, protege of Albert Einstein, in his book, Universe and the Implicate Order, speaks about the content of our consciousness being projected into our physical reality. Theoretical physicist Amit Goswami, in his book, Self-Aware Universe, and our homegrown man, theoretical physicist also, Dr. Fred Alan Wolf, in his book Spiritual Universe, speaks about it beautifully, that our thoughts and feelings, our inner beliefs, not what we say, oh, I deserve, that's your positive wish for, but inner beliefs come out as quantum waves. And then we receive them back as echo waves, as physical reality. That is, inner informs the outer. So we must have confidence that it is possible for us to have a wonderful, fulfilling, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually relationship. We must believe that we can have it. We must also believe that we deserve such a relationship, and we must feel that it is safe to have such a relationship. Without that being part of our psyche, it's very difficult. People struggle, and they have love, they have a relationship, and for some reason it's not working, and they were constantly fighting because these inner beliefs are not fitting. They are not fitting what they see in front. If a person has the inner belief, life is a struggle. They grew up, let's say, with parents who were constantly fighting, and that was absorbed, that became their belief. Now they're in this relationship. If they're not fighting, they're not comfortable. They will create the fighting situation. So we need to, as I said, we need to have these beliefs, and it's possible to do it. And I want to do with you this exercise, and listen, God willing, a month from now, you can call me on it and say, hey, Peter, it's not working, if it's not working. But I'm telling you, do this exercise. We'll do an exercise based on what's called neuroassociative conditioning. Once we do it, you will understand how powerful it is. And again, it can be a relationship between a daughter. I see here Jaya and Andrea. It can be a relationship between a child and a parent. It can be a relationship between the co-workers, whoever you want. So we'll do, those of you who want to participate, sit comfortably. We'll use our left brain, our right brain, our limbic system. I did not invent it. Ivan Pavlov, Russian physiologist, upon his behavioral psychology, half of the world's psychology is based on Pavlov's ideas. So this exercise that I'm going to do with you is based on this understanding that it's possible to create conditioning and change our beliefs. So I want you just, those of you who want to participate, sit comfortably. You can place your arms on the arms of the chair or on your lap and close your eyes. And I want you to combine the focus of your left brain with the playfulness of your right brain. And remember, if it will not be easy for you, not everybody can imagine things. So you can just pretend that you imagine. Feel it in your heart. Just inhale relaxation and exhale tension. Let your shoulders hang slightly loose. And relax. Bring relaxation in your body by simply saying to yourself mentally, relax. This word, relax, is connected with a certain physiological response. So just relax. if you find any part of your body being tense, just think or imagine that you're breathing in warm air into that part. And now I want you to think or imagine going into your private magical garden with all the medicinal plants, healing herbs, lavish vegetation, and absolutely wonderful energy. I want you to take a moment and awaken as many of your senses as you can, one at a time. Try to smell the plants and flowers. You can think of touching them if you wish. You can see them. Go further in this garden and find a power spot in this garden, a special place with extra soft grass, and stand there upright. Mentally take your shoes off and feel the softness of the grass against the soles of your feet. And I would like you to think or imagine releasing from the soles of your feet all the tiredness, mental strain, the stiff back, the tight shoulders, or whatever it is. Release all that tension into the grass. And now for the next 10-15 seconds, I want you to think about your relationship and how you would like with whoever you want it to be and how you would like it to be. Just say this to yourself mentally as clearly as you can, but say it as if it's happening right now, as if it's happening in present, like my relationship with my mother is ta-ta-ta, or my relationship with my friend is this and this. State it mentally. That's how you utilize your left brain. And now imagine, turn in your right brain. Imagine as much as you can this relationship actually happening. What you wished logically, now imagine it happening in any way you can. Be playful, creative, do not hold back. And now bring in the emotion. That's the limbic system. Feel the joy, feel the passion. Bring the future into the present moment as if it's happening now. And that you are at the height of your emotion. I want you to physically clench your right fist with the thumb up and mentally say to yourself, yes. One more time, clench your fist, your thumb up, and say to yourself mentally, yes. And relax your hand. Stay with the feeling for as long as you can hold it. When you're ready, begin to prepare yourself to come back to the normal state of normal activity. Think of putting your shoes on, going through the garden. I will count from 1 to 5 and you open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you open your eyes. Good. And now I want your feedback. Those of you who want, you can raise your hand, or I don't see everybody's face, but please, you raise your hand or unmute yourself, and you can ask questions or share with your experience. I see Jaya, please.
It was very, transcendent. Like, going to the garden, going to a different place. And the garden, the physical garden is a place that where I do meditate and where I do feel a lot of love and calm and peace. So I was imagining summertime and the soft grass, and we have a pool in our yard, and just being there near the water, and thinking of my parents and my family, and feeling a lot of love. So it was very, very healing and calming.
Thank you. So this is your private place. You can go there anytime. And you will find the more you go there, the more it will become part of your consciousness. And the time, particularly when if you did this, now you understand why I wanted you from the beginning to do it. What happened now? We created an association. We created associations all the time. If you walk into your dark living room, let's say, you don't say, oh, it's dark. There is a switch somewhere. I need to put electricity. No, you walk in and your brain already has a connection between the dark room and your hand going to the right or to the left for the switch, right? So that's called an association, associative conditioning. So, but what we're doing is we're associating now this experience of connectedness with this, yes. So anytime you go through the day, you want to connect with somebody, you want to relax, you want to feel uplifted, you clench your fist and say yes. The more you do it, the more it's reinforced. It's like you are, in a way, hypnotizing yourself to become part of that beautiful scene. Understand? But you didn't tell me that you had to work on your relationship with Andrea, so I assume that it's a very good relationship, so you don't need anything to add. But imagine some people have challenging relationships. Those relationships can be mended, but it has to come from the inner peace and inner belief this relationship works. That's why you start with the inside, and then it will be transferred into the outside. Otherwise, it's very hard to work on the outside when there is no inner belief. Anybody? Thank you, Jaya. Anybody? You can mute yourself. Anybody else wants to share? I see Tanya. Tanya, you are unmuted. Would you like to share?
Sure. I think two things. It did teach me to try to be aware of my body and where you're holding stress. And so when you were saying release the stress and make sure that you're calm, and so I was trying to make sure that I was not holding stress in any place in my body. But then it also actually taught me to visualize, right? Sometimes we're so busy doing things and we're so busy reacting to life and the things that happen to us. And what it did for me was to remind me to stop and to sometimes just think and visualize what you want to have in life and what you want things to be. And so that was very useful. So I will take both of those things and use those in the future.
Thank you, Tanya. And you can utilize it not only for relationships, intimate relationships. You can utilize that technique. Let's say if you want a new job,
Mm-hmm.
if you know that during depression or during the time when economy is not so great, there are still people who earn a good living. There are still people who start businesses, not too many, because most people say, oh, I would love to have a job, but the economy is so bad. What they do is that they already accepted the belief, I cannot get a job. So if you are not open, if your energy is not open for it, that which belongs to you will not come, because you already shielded yourself from. Only when, just like if you, let's say you want to listen to classical music, 93.9 National Public Radio, right? In order to hear that music, you're gonna say, I want classical music. No, You first have to put the dial on 93.9, right? In order to receive. So the same thing, you have to put a dial, you have to be in that mental, emotional state of that which you want in order to receive that. Your station has to be tuned in. Okay, go on. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing. You can mute yourself. Anybody else wants to share? Oh, I see Cheryl. Cheryl, would you like to share?
Oh, hi. When you were speaking, I started literally drifting off. I found, I started in the garden, and then I just kept going into that garden. And I honestly, the end part I didn't even hear because I was in another place. And it was peaceful. I really, yeah, I enjoyed it. That's probably not the results that you're hoping for, but that's where it took me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Cheryl. You know, I have to tell you, so many people discover that this space we call imagination is such an incredible gift. So when I introduce to them, when those people who are not familiar, it's shocking. It's shocking how much can be achieved by it. Remember, we came into this world with 5 senses. Remember, taste, smell, touch, hearing, sight, yes? It's only logical if nature, God, or whatever it is, provided us with 5 senses to explore the outer reality, that we would get the senses to explore our inner reality. And indeed we have. We were born with it. Remember, psychology, philosophy are all man-made disciplines. It's all but intellectual guesses. The only unquestionable reality is pain or joy that the person experiences. Where it comes from, it's all stories that we make up. We may never know. That's why in my therapeutic approach and the approach of those students that I teach, and God willing, they will work in this, what we call short-term goal-oriented therapy, is to, rather than going into the details why things are happening, we may never know. If you believe in genetics, it may be from your ancestors. If you believe in past lives, it may be from past life. Who knows? The only thing we know is what is in the moment. And we were given tools: willpower, reason, intuition, imagination, and night dreams. God willing, we will continue these meetings, and in the following, you know, I have 35 different subjects on which I spoke over the years. Each of them was 1 hour introduction workshop, and then 12 hours whole program. So in the future talks, I will take people, I will have a whole hour to myself, hopefully. And I will take people through many exercises like this. I have a whole series of exercises called Discovering Yourself. And you find so many things about yourself that I'm saying it so confidently because I've done it with thousands of people, that you didn't think they existed. But not only you discover, but you have the opportunity to make changes within that inner world. And the inner then informs the inner changes into the outer world. Because remember, we have will and we have imagination. So let's say somebody would share with me, oh, I had these images that, you know, I spoke to somebody and a person attacked me. Not by chance these images came. So, but remember, you have will within an imagination. You go back to the experience because this is your own anxiety. This is your own fighting spirit that is part, your own expectation that this person will attack you. So you go back and make a correction and you create harmony within that image. And then you go and meet that person and you find suddenly they're much more mellow because the inner now new information created a formation in the outside world that is quite different. You made the correction. Thank you, Cheryl, for sharing. Anybody wants to share or no? Okay, we just started. it's really so much fun. It's fun introducing this stuff to you. So we have limited time. So I want to give you just couple of more techniques for relationships in case you want kind of give you a tease of what is yet to come. Because a month from now, we'll have a full hour for talking about relationships. I encourage those of you who are in relationship to institute something. You know, once a year we have a State of the Union address of the president, yes? I encourage everyone who is in a relationship that is important to you, whatever time is your rest day. For me, it's Friday evening. For somebody, it's Saturday evening. But whatever day it is, before you go into that rest day, and I sincerely hope you do have a rest day, you sit in front of your partner, your friend, your child, and you do state of our union discussion. Where are we? During the week, we're so busy, we're running. You sit quietly and say, was there during this week something that was not spoken about? Was there anything that I did that made you feel uneasy? And when a person says to you, oh, yes, you did this and this, you don't say, oh, but I did it because of this and this. That's a huge mistake many people make in a relationship. That's where fighting begins. Because think about it. The person you're talking to is a person you love. And when a person says to you, oh, you did this and this, at that moment, are they happy? No, they're saying, I'm in pain. And when you're saying, oh, but I did it because you say then, shut up, I'm not interested. I will give you my piece of truth. No, when somebody says something was uncomfortable, you say, thank you for sharing. Is there anything I can do to make it better? Imagine if that would be a way of relating to each other. And a person may say 5 things you can do, and you may not, first of all, you maybe didn't do anything wrong. Or maybe you can change one thing and you can say, yes, I can focus on this. It will be difficult for me for this and this and this. But they feel that you listen to them, that you are interested. 2, you give them hope that you are willing to make an effort. And that makes all the difference. Any questions? I am looking at the clock. If you don't have questions, I want to thank you for your attention. And there are many, many, many tools I have. You know, I have a radio show. I'm a host of a radio show, which is called Dr. Peter Reznik's Toolbox. So I am a giant toolbox because in 45 years, I accumulated a lot of tools and I will gladly share with them with you. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was really, really lovely and in keeping with our theme. And everyone, it just gives you a taste, you know, of the kind of counseling we want to offer through Peter's leadership and guidance with, you know, many, hopefully, trained counselors, and reach a lot of people with all of these beautiful techniques and really helpful things that we all need help with. And some people, you know, suffering even more. So thank you so much. And as Peter said, he has so much more to offer, and we do plan to offer monthly. I'm going to share my screen now. We do plan to offer monthly, okay, webinars led by Dr. Reznik every month, as I said. So we'd love to, there are many, many topics to cover, right? We want to make sure that the topics we're covering are of the most relevance and the greatest help to the greatest number of people. So if you have ideas for topics you'd like to see covered, please, you can put them in the chat right now and we'll record those and take them down, or you can go to our website, rosescharity.com, and go to the contact page, and there's a form, and you can put your contact information as well as your idea, okay? So, or your ideas. Okay, we also want you to follow us on social media, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And Duru, did you want to also say something in addition?
Sure. So you can also use the contact page just to send us your contact information, your name and email address, so we can get in touch with you and include you on our distribution list. As a reminder, our financial goal is to raise $50,000 in order to start our programs. You can go to rosescharity.com/donate to donate. There you will click on the donate button and get a dialog box that will take you through all the entry fields to make that donation happen. You can do it with a credit card or direct withdrawal from a checking account. So again, we look forward to hearing from you and your support.
Okay, thank you. Tanya,
Sorry, I wanted to just give a reminder that we are seeking involvement through volunteering. So if someone would like to volunteer for our scholarship and counseling programs, we welcome you to volunteer, and we also welcome donations. So if you or anyone else you know would be interested in volunteering or donating, we are definitely open to those activities.
We also need your help spreading the word. So please tell your friends, coworkers, colleagues, and family members about our services and our needs, and share with them our social medias and our website, which will be available on the last slide.
And also, I just would like to remind those who were listening to this webinar that I did to read, to download the Love Treaty. And next month, I will be talking about Love Treaty, and we'll work through the details of how to make that Love Treaty actually serve you and work well. And also, after that, probably I will be talking again. People can choose, because we'll have a whole list of different programs, and they can ask for a program which is not on the list. But I will be talking within a month or two about staying healthy in a stressful world. And it will be a separate program, because we are going through challenging times, and I would like to offer this as a program.
Thanks, Peter. So this is Gladys, and just wanted to let you know that this is our fundraising time. So we're relying on you to build on what you learned this evening and help us move Roses forward. We're hoping to update you through our website as we develop and grow. So please make sure you check with us often.
And I don't know if Drew already said this, I think he might have. So we'd love to add you to our community, make you part of our community. So please go to our website, and you can go to that contacts page that I mentioned earlier, or in the chat here, and give us your contact information. Or you can also do that through our social media platforms and sites. So here those are on this slide with one little correction. Instagram is @roses_charity. Okay. And then the email address, the website is here, our phone number, and then our tax identification information. That's important for anyone who's donating money. And let's see. So after this, and again, we thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will be putting these slides that we were showing tonight with all of this information. We'll put those up on our website, rosescharity.com. We'll put them on Facebook as well. So you can go there and see that, Rose's Facebook page. And then we are recording this presentation tonight. So we'll be putting that up on our YouTube channel in a few days. Okay, so please go there and get those things, and you know, we are relying on word of mouth largely at this stage. So please tell your friends and family what you've learned about tonight. I hope, you know, please let us know if you have any questions, but direct people to our website so they can learn more and we can build momentum. We really want to do that now that we've launched officially. And again, it's about money and it's about raising money to offer our counseling and our scholarship programs, but it's also about the dialogue and the awareness of mental health as a topic that we should freely talk about every day in order to help ourselves and the people we love. And we all want to become more educated about it as well. So we do want more awareness, more exposure. So the more people who come to our website and our social media and interact with us and come to Peter's monthly webinars, the better, the faster we'll meet those goals, which we do believe are in the best interest of everyone. So with that, we will end our program for tonight. And again, thank you. Roses is now officially launched and we're so excited. And we will be back in touch with all of you very soon. All right. Meanwhile, have a nice evening. And I hope everybody's enjoying a wonderful Valentine's week.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.